Hello and welcome. Happy 2024. I'm so happy and grateful to be here with you in this very special time that we are in. And yes, this is the second time I'm doing this session with set your intention and manifest them. And it's a science and it's an art, but before we're going into it, I'd really love to reflect on, some manifestations of 2023, and some have been really hard for so many, for myself. And then people ask, when you set your mind on something you want to manifest and then, bad things happen. And spiritually spoken, there is nothing, no such a thing as bad, but there's always a lesson in it, learning experiences. But this time I was asking again, sometimes why does it have to be so hard? Like, how can this, I would understand the lesson also if it's not so hard. But then sometimes there is a global lesson in it. So there is our personal manifestations, and there is the global manifestations, the global messaging. And so, for example, before COVID, so many people were saying, oh, I wish I had more time, or I wish I could do this and that. I wish I could be more with my family. I wish I could work from home. And so that has kind of been a hard way to realize this manifestation. So many of us suddenly had all the time in the world and had more time to spend with family and kids and find a new work-life balance or work-life integration. And so the question has to be asked, what are the lessons that we are going to learn with what's currently going on? And so as Steve Jobs said, we can only connecting the dots looking back. So I'm looking forward to be looking back. I do think that many things are coming up with you. They come to the surface. There is so much polarization right now coming up to the surface. So the voices of saying, hey, let's have a discussion, let's validate the other people, which is in spiritual point of view like totally a spiritual thing to do. And we all thought, oh yeah, like I'm so tolerant and I'm so appreciative of the other and live and let live. And then suddenly we find ourselves to be in such a polarized world when you cannot even say one thing without being attacked from the other thing, even though you mean well and like, let me explain, please. So yeah, it's an interesting time, and we will see where this will lead us. What is super important is that you always know your values and have the courage to stand up for them. And sometimes it's also okay to first, take a step back and reconsider what your values are, what you want to stand for, and also if you know, then how do you want to stand for it? Like, what is your way? What is your path? And mine has always been a path to coming towards the other and ask questions, try to understand, try to find the common ground. And I think that's what is most needed in these times. Like, what is the common ground? How can we have a conversation? And then some say, hey, with these people I can't have a conversation. So my belief in this really definitely has been shattered, but still I refuse to let go of it, because I always think there must be people to have this conversation, and we just need to choose how we bring those people to power, those that stand up for the values we do, those who do not divide, do not polarize, but see that we are one, because we are one, like, right? Like, it's all one energy. Energy is working towards and through us and as us. So when I opened this thoughts with, like, why does it happen to us? So let's shift the view and say, why does it happen for us? What's the lesson? How does it happen as us? What's my role in this context? And you might have seen and noticed that I have been quiet for a long time, because I just had to figure out what is my role, and I'm still on that journey, and many of you might be too. So, and that's good, be on that journey. There no one says, hey, you have to arrive, because life is a continuous journey, and values change and upgrade, and you might want to shift, and you might to have other points of view, which is a great thing to have. And when we say, so what do you want to manifest? So manifestation is really that you bring an idea from the spiritual realm, from the realm of thought, into the physical. And then sometimes, and you might have read Mephisto, so sometimes, you bring something in the physical, it's like, oh, that's not what I intended, or that's not how I thought it would be. And then we fine tune, and then we see how we relate to that, and then that's our new base point. And from this new baseline, we say, oh, we're going to course correct into this direction, that direction. And what I also feel is that there is a lot of energetic turmoil going on. I have heard, and I'm no specialist in this, about the sun flares that coincide, a lot of astrological planet shifting that, as I said, I'm not an expert in it, but be aware with what's going on. And so always, before you act, think, right? Yeah, so just to open this, if you want to have my assistance with navigating these times, the link will be shared and is shared on all the platforms. You are able to comment, raise your hand and say, hey, here's my question. I think I will be able to see them so I can go into them. And also, you are not alone. Like, you don't have to figure it out alone if you're new to this. And also, if you're already experiencing this, there is always new angles and voices and people you want to side with in order to walk that path. And so, just to start with saying that we are going to open Thinking into Results again this January. And I'm looking forward to have a new group. And if you feel called that, yes, this is the time, I really want guidance on how this works with the thoughts, emotions, how do I bring calm into the turmoil, or how do I get out of wherever I'm stuck? So just, take the resources that are available to you and go for it. So it's a really interesting journey, the manifestation. Mani is also come from the manu, which is the manual, which is in the hand. And as every manifestation is created twice, first in the mind and then into the physical. And today I'm going to explain the science of how this happens metaphysically. And I love it because I was always this data driven. I really want to understand how it works. So it's really interesting to look at the physics of it, the metaphysics perhaps of it. And then there is the art, right? It's always a science and it's an art. So for me, it took about a year to learn the science. That's when I started. And maybe it took longer before. It's like adding up. It's like these building blocks. But it really, when I started to work with Bob Proctor, it like started to fall into place because he has this very rational, facts on the ground kind of approach to explain spiritual and metaphysical phenomena. So that's a real fun way to get to explore it. And then once I intellectually understood it, then I had to do all the work, which is putting your emotions to where your thoughts are, putting your behaviors, your habit, adapting them to your goal, because that's, I'll go into it, but that's like how it's needed. So it's not, let's meditate a bit and just focus on it, which might work as well. Depends how much you're unaffected to the thing or thought or emotion you want to manifest. So the more you want it, the more you desire, the more you also might feel the lack of it, which is holding up the manifestation, which is the conundrum of it. And so we will look how to uplift and up level, in this case, our emotional vibrations. That's where the law of attraction is coming, but no worry, I'll explain step by step. Okay. I lost my thought. Well, just another thought came in. So that happens. Anyways, so that I can also change my behaviors. And sometimes I don't even see why or what or how I should change them, because I like it like it is, right? And that's the comfort zone thing, when I really like it how it was, or it's really uncomfortable to grow. But so sometimes, and as we saw this year, if we have to go through a collective shift, a shift towards values, towards truth, towards breaking up institutions that have just been completely corrupted and don't serve the purpose anymore for which they have been established. So sometimes just a real big shakeup can manifest this, and this is also true for our private lives. This is true for our spiritual lives. This is true for our manifestation, personally, in our small circles, family, and also on the global scale as we see it. Like there is a total shakeup. And the question is really, where do we take this to? And you and me and everyone, we are part of this collective energy, and we can either bring calm to the storm, or we can flare the flames, right? And so it's every one of us with the voice, with the energies, with the deeds, and the question, where do we want to see them, what do we want to do with them? And it's also okay if you just want to be a private person and do your thing. It's totally okay. And then I ask again, so what is your role? Where do you see yourself? And to become clear of it is the work. And I have another session next Sunday where we do speak like specifically about goals and how to set goals, and also when we want to set the intentions for the goals, and I will explain the importance of the goals. Now we set the intentions, so we put tension to our goal. So the quality of goals is really super important, and the quality and not the size of it. So more what it means for you and how you want to show up in this life, in this year. You know, you can also say, hey, I'll take it easy. So many things have happened. I first need to sort out my thoughts, my emotions, my life. So that's okay. Just as always, start where you are, do what you can, and don't beat yourself up for what you can't, because that's fine. There is a time for everything and everyone. So, do we want to go into the manifestations, the explanation? So again, first we will do the science, and then we will do the art. The science is the description, how it works, metaphysically, physically, and the art then is how you implement it into your life. And I'm really curious to hear. You're welcome to leave comments, and I'm also happy to be there for you to, answer your question, be part of your journey. I'd love that. Yeah, so let's get rocking. So I have a new screen. So, okay. As I said, when we go into the intention to manifest it, of course, first we need to know what we want to do. First is your goal. And now here I have this rubber band, okay, so I can pull it, okay. And when we speak about goal, when you know me speaking about the 3 types of goals. So the first one is like the lowest, here we call it A-type goal, which is something you know what to do. Maybe I can make this bigger. Let's see. So you know you can get it. Now I preferred it this way. So you know you can get it. It's something achievable. That's also the typical SMART goals. And when I have this rubber band, so here you see me in this corner, and I'll just pull, and just a little. I don't have to put effort in it, or just a little bit to hold it up. From here I can hold it up, and that's the thing. Okay, so it's easy. You can do it. Okay, so the second type of goals is the B level goal. The second is you have an idea you want it, and it's kind of a stretch, but when you stretch it, that you can do it. Okay, so that's the B. You can do it. You have an idea, you have strategy. Maybe it takes time, maybe it takes a training, maybe it takes resources, maybe an investment, but there is a path, and this, if not this one, then another one, and you achieve a goal like this. So again, the A-type goal is like you want a new car, and you already had a new car in the past, so you save up for a new car, or to travel to another city, so you already know, okay, you save up a little money or your budget to travel to the other city. That's an A-type goal. B, something that you have never done before, like moving into a house of your own, or having this new job, or things that excite you, standing on a stage, things that you haven't done before, okay? But that seem, okay, I really want to stand on a stage, okay? So go and find stages. It's something that you can find ways. You have never done it before, but it's still achievable. And then we have the third, what Bob used to call C-type goal, what I love more to call inspire goals, because it's really a stretch, okay? So when you start at your starting point and you go to your B-type goal, right? That's somewhere here. So you're in a stretch, but you're still like, it's bearable. And the C-type is like really, oh, that's a big stretch. And you're really afraid that if I let go, it will flick to my hand, and that hurts, and that you don't know what happens and where it happens and when it happens. So that's really a stretch. Okay, can you see that? So we have this rubber band. So I want to stretch it to the end of the screen, and I'm really afraid to do it. So see, that's what the C-type goal is. But the thing is, when I let it go, and I'll do it slowly, then it like it can manifest really fast, and that's what people then call quantum leaps. But the thing is, you did the stretch before. You stretch and stretch and stretch, and you try new things and to do new thoughts. So you do all this work before. That's in the metaphysical, in the not visible, but you feel the tension. There is new things you have to do. You feel the tension. You can even do music, and you can do the music only. Can you hear it? If there is tension, right? So if you want to have quantum leaps, it only works when you're stretched. That said, get comfortable to make this stretch. Get comfortable with that. And so when we speak about goals more in depth next Sunday, it's like it's easier to make this stretch on paper. You can write out your goal, fantasize, visualize. And that's the fun part, the easy part, which also so many just don't do. Rethink their values, rethink their goals. Take time for yourself to really do it. And yeah, so that's the thinking of it. But then when I say, okay, my big goal, and let's take the multi-million business, so I really have to do something really different, or peace. Let's say I'm going to bring peace in the Middle East. I mean, I don't know how many people watching me right now. I have gone as a student in 2003 to study in the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, because I thought, as a Swiss, doing compromises and stuff, I know how to bring peace. So I haven't lost that dreams. I have been in peace organizations ever since, and I feel so hurt because so many peace activists were targeted this October. So, but I know that the value is the value that I want to live for, right? And that's why I know now, okay, this path hasn't worked. I will go and not let go of the goal. I'll just choose another path, right? So this is really about, if I want to have this fantastic goal, I really have to do things differently. And not only, me, but what I do has to become really different. And knowing that is the one thing, but doing it is the other thing. And that's, for those who have been in thinking into results already, it's the knowing doing gap, right? That's so big sometimes. Sometimes it's really easy, but sometimes it's really big, because you have to expose yourself. Also, with your own self-image, in your family, your surroundings, in your job, and maybe the whole society, and maybe the whole world, So this is the work. In order to invoke change, you really have to make the change. There's nothing around it. So the first, if you take notes, the first step in this session is to have an inspired C-type goal that really stretches you, that puts the tension to what we have. So then the second, how to set goals. Yeah, so I really explain this. Let's give some more minutes to it because I love this graphic. So you see the turquoise point, my finger goes behind it. That's where you are, and you are always, you are where you are. You cannot be where you're not, so don't beat yourself up for where you're not. You are where you are, and that's your starting point. Now going to the next higher level, which is the orange point, is this what is it? A-type goal, right? And then when you say, okay, I did it once, I can do it again. So what is the path? It's kind of linear, and maybe now I really do make this bigger. Let's see here. Yes. But then I say, okay, but the path there is not always linear. Sometimes it's an up and down, right? Up and down and up and down. And so slowly but surely you will get there and stay there because you already know the work. So you can let go of the tension a bit and then make the tension bigger again. So that's, for example, a sales rep, sometimes hitting the numbers, sometimes not. And then, oh, now I want. And yeah. So then when you have this range, this is what is called your comfort zone. That's where you're normally at. That's where you're comfortable with. That's how you feel confident that you can do it. And now the thing is when you want to have the next level goal, it's outside this comfort zone, right? You have to do things differently, right? Outside the comfort zone. So also the path there is not always linear. It can be up and down. It can be different, and that's the B-type goal. But what we really want here, where we're really going for, is to have this amazing, exciting goal that is perhaps your life purpose, your soul contract. You know, this what you know that you have been born to do in this world, right? And so the quest is, and I wrote here crazy, maybe it's not so well, but this is when you say, ah, you're crazy. You're going to bring world peace? That's crazy. You're going to have a multi-million-dollar business? That's crazy. And I say, welcome to the world of the craziest. That's where I love and live. That's where I love to take people to. That's where I love to make you or invite you to become comfortable. So what? So they call me crazy, and I guess I have always been, I will always be. I did not always have an easy time to get comfortable with it, but my soul purpose is calling me so strong that I'm taking it into account to be called or considered crazy. Frankly, I don't care. I love it. And I invite you to do the same. The question here is really the path. And you can never know until you know. So here it's a dotted line. I guess it's not so well visible in this small screen, but it's dotted. So you don't know. It also goes up and down and back and forth. And we never know when you if we're on track until we know that we are, right? So have a good time doing this because it will be at the end of the day, it's so worth it when you know you have lived your life to the fullest, to the full extent of what you could have done, wanted to have done. And yeah, for me, reaching or having already reached the many, many stepping stones on the way, and some of them I will share with you shortly, it's just so worth it. It's so fun to have, achieved those milestones and then to just move my star and like, oh, I can do this, I can do this, right? Yeah, so let's see. Yeah, so again, the first A-type goal, there is no tension. To go to the B-type goal, there's low tension. So you do stretch a bit, you do make things a little different, but the C-type goal is really to be in tension, okay? And you do this mentally, physically, and spiritually. First, it's spiritual, you know where you want to go. Physically, it's the behaviors, the actions that you take, and the path there is really mentally, where you always rethink, recalibrate, adjust your habits, your behaviors to what you really want. Sounds fun? It is. And sometimes it's not, but it really is. So that's where this energetic explosion really happens. Okay. Questions until here, because that's super important to understand in terms of the physics of the tension and the goals, right? That's why we always start with making sure that you have a real good goal. For those of you listening to me, we have goaling, which is like staying in your goal and looking at the world from the perspective of your goal instead of towards your goal. So, and more on this next Sunday. And of course, for those who join Thinking into Results, this is a big thing to change the perspective of from your goal, because then you know the kinds of behaviors that lead you there towards your goal. So then the tension, of course, it means growth, right? Now I can change the slides again so I see myself as well. So the growth, the tension, when you're in tension, so you grow that rubber band, you grow it. And that's a transformation if you look at the cells of the particles of it. So the tensions changes them, right? And on the picture, I put here a butterfly, because the butterfly doesn't start as a butterfly. That's the end goal. It wants to be a beautiful, colorful butterfly. But first, there is this egg. And from the egg, we have the caterpillar. Has anyone explained to the caterpillar how to change from being an egg to change to be a caterpillar? But then also, they're colorful, they're interesting, they're sophisticated, they do all kinds of, like, they have their physicality is very strong. They can like vacuum, like you create vacuums with their, I don't know how to call it in English, right? With their feet, so they can hang on leaves, and they eat a lot, and they do all kinds of fun things. And then who tells the caterpillar to go into this cocoon and to stay like locked in for 2 weeks or so, depends on the kind of butterfly, to squeeze in, to go through this hard time to say, okay, I'm changing again. So why again? I already changed from the egg to the caterpillar. Yeah, you want to be a butterfly, so you have to change again. So okay, but this is not comfortable. This is not fun. And I'm saying that's sometimes right, but the award when you become this this butterfly and you can spread your wings and fly into the world, like, is it worth it? My answer is wow, yes. Like, just, yeah. And so the thing is, when this constraints come in, when these hard times, when I say, oh, that's confining me, but then how do I move? So just trust that at the end of the process, a transformation will happen and the butterfly will come out of the cocoon, which was before a caterpillar, which was before an egg. Okay? So believe it's possible, even though you don't understand it, even though you don't know exactly how and what and why. It happens. It must, because it's in nature. The very same thing is when you have a seed, when you plant a seed, like the seed has this form, right? And all the information inside the seed, you put it in the earth. Sometimes you wait a lot of time. Sometimes you wait for the right season. Sometimes you wait for rain. Sometimes it will like take a couple of seasons. So the law, the universal law of generation, says in nature it must grow into what it's meant to be. But the path, like, we don't know about the time. We have to surrender and let go of the process, because that's a divine process. Like, nature knows it all. We don't have to do something. The caterpillar doesn't have to do something just to eat, right? So we just have to trust that there is a natural process of growth, and that transformation is part of it, and that at the end of the day we will reach our goal as long as we don't resist the transformation and the growth process. Okay, so that is, like, I think that's the number one mistake or problem why people don't manifest, is because we cannot let go of what is and trust the process of transformation because of fears. And if you want to know more about the fears, there is 6 types of fears described well in the book Think and Grow Rich. So the fear of losing money, the fear of death, the fear of bad health, the fear of being ridiculous or that people talk about you. What is it else? The fear of not succeeding. So I don't remember. Let's recall them also. But it's the fear that holds you back to transform, right? And you also know that, hey, once you've been a child, and then you've been a teenager, and then you've been perhaps, you know, partying young person, and then like that's my life. Then I became a mother, and then now my kids are already teenagers, and so I involve all the time. So there is no point in holding back transformation, but there is a lot of point in bringing the transformation to where you want it to go. Okay, so you put the intention to where you want to go, and then you manifest it. Easy. So the first thing is to imagine what you want. Imagine, like, what is it for you? I'm going to share a couple of examples what it was for me, but because I want you to first think about what you want to manifest, so I'll just share my thoughts and manifestations a little later, because some of you might want to have perfect relationship, attract the perfect partner, live in love, live the love you desire, which can be with another person, with your kids, with yourself, with your family, with your community. Like, where is the love, right? Maybe you want to live in abundance and prosperity. And then also we have a lot of courses and trainings about going into connecting financial and non-financial riches and prosperity. So what is it for you? It can be health, of course. Yeah, so like you might, if you see the replay, just stop this and think. You might also want to join us on Sunday for the other session. And yeah, maybe you already wrote down your goals for the year, which is fantastic. And I always say the goals for the year are a very nice stepping stone to your ultimate goals, life goals, C-type goals. So just go for it. And so, what if you knew that it is possible? Because, as I said, with every seed that is going to be a plant, with every egg that changes into the caterpillar, that changes into the cocoon, that changes into the butterfly, like there is an exact formula of how this happens. And just because we don't see it, because it's not always visible to us, just because we cannot hear it, because there is no audio function explaining the thing, just because we cannot touch it, because sometimes it's first in the mind and we have an idea of something, how we want to happen, and before we can touch it. The same with smelling it or tasting it. It's just there, and that's what I mean with the metaphysical. It's between the thought and the physical, because you're working towards it. So what if you knew that this formula with the intention setting, the goal setting, and then putting your thoughts, then your emotions, which is the law of vibrations. The emotions trigger our heartbeat, right? The heartbeat is different when I'm optimistic or pessimistic or angry or furious or excited. So our heart beats in a different vibration, and that is what explains the law of vibration, and that's what explains the law of attraction. The law of attraction is a secondary goal of the law of vibration. So after the law of generation, you bring in the law of vibration, and you just know that there is this formula that you have to bring the emotions to the thing, so to the thought. An example for this is when I know that I'm going to have a multi-million-dollar business, or when I know that I'm going to bring peace on earth. Let's take peace on earth. I cannot be an angry person. I cannot go and blame and shame and da, because that's not peaceful. If I want to be a multimillionaire, I cannot say, oh, the tomatoes are expensive today, or I don't want to invest in to grow my business, because obviously I have to invest in my business in order for it to grow, or invest in myself in order for myself to grow. Invest time, invest effort, invest thought, invest money, invest skills. So there's so much, that's again the law of growth. There's so much to put into this, but it's an exact formula. Okay. So what if you knew that there is an exact formula, which we just have established here, how to implement this exact formula, and then to get the results. So that's what we're here for, and it works every single time. And I'm proof of it. I have manifested so many things. And the reason why I'm writing a book that is called 222 Manifestation Stories is because 187 or so I have already manifested, okay? So just to give you a couple of examples, first I'll give you here a couple of values and things that I stand for, that I wanted, that I set out to, and then I'll show you how they manifested. Not always the way I wanted and I thought they would, but so let's just see. So I'll give you the examples one by one. One of the things that I really stand for is growth. To grow, to not stand still, because growth is like, it's exciting. It's like, oh, now I did this and now I do that. And so this is exciting. It gives a lot of joy into my life. And also helping others grow. I really think I'm predestined for that. I have, since I was a student and a pupil, I've participated in so many projects. That's really something that is really fun to me. If you're also one of the entrepreneur kind of mind, you know what I mean. And if you're not, it's like, okay, some people love to see the plants grow, and frankly, so do I. Look. Always next to me, my orchid. So in 2021, effortless manifestation was what I my term of the year. Always I had a term of the year. Last year it was prosperity. This year it's going to be peace. Anyway, effortless manifestation. So keep this in mind when I go and show you the example of the 4-leaf clovers. Then there is co-creation. For me, I love to do it with people. Like when I get support, or when I support others, or when I have accountability partner, whatever constellation, I really love to co-create and to be uplifted by others and to uplift others. So it's always a common thing with others. Yeah. So love and happiness was also a big theme. I always have this personal and business goal or professional goal. So the growth is more in the business side, and love and happiness is really something I looked to bring more into our family. And so it's really a fun thing to do. And I will also show you how we did it in a minute. And then mindful success. So first I was always taught this is success, hitting the millions or being on stage, this is success. And then I recalibrated and said, what is success for me, right? And I became mindful of celebrating, the little things, the daily achievements, and to not say, oh, you didn't do this and you didn't do that, and put myself down, but rather say, hey, today I accomplished this, today I did that. So that's very mindful, being mindful of all the stepping stones on and before we have the quantum leap. And looking forward for the quantum leap as well. And I know it's coming, right? And so abundant prosperity for those of you following me already quite some time. So you know that in 2018, I lost everything. And for about 2 years, we didn't have money at all. But then I learned about manifestation. So you never need money for a manifestation. You always want the thing. Sometimes it costs something, and I learned that from Tony Robbins, if you don't have the resources, be resourceful. So go for the thing. And then only when you want the thing, when you made a decision that you're going for it, then you need the resources. Sometimes they're money, sometimes they're time, sometimes it's your talent, sometimes it's a network, sometimes asking a question, sometimes just putting your mind on it. It can be anything. So for prosperity, for abundance, you never need anything. You just need to know what your goal is and then be open to what transformation needs and can happen right now so that you manifest your higher good. So one of the things that I sought out for myself, and that goes into the growth, is that I wanted to do live workshops. That was before COVID. I was on all the stages in Zurich, co-working spaces with explaining funnels, with marketing, and I'm doing it today again with completely much more business spirituality. And it is something I wished for and that I achieved because I put my mind on it. I networked, I told them, I asked them, I presented myself, I presented my content, and sure enough, then I was invited. This is the picture. Actually, you can see it better here, or I need to make it bigger. So this is Bob Proctor here on the, what is it, left, right? Anyways, and the other circle, the yellow one, is me. And that was also a big manifestation when I gained direct access to Bob Proctor, which was very, who was my mentor and guide during these times, and especially in times of, when I lost all the businesses and the money, and I needed to have more in orientation and frankly a mentor showing me how. So on his presentation, so he actually said, if you didn't make the decision, you don't need the money. And I said, I'll show you how. And I say, okay, go for it. Show me how. I don't have the money at all. And sure enough, I just called there. And had I restricted or limited myself, knowing that I don't have the money, I wouldn't have called. But I did call because he said, I don't need the money unless I make a decision. So I told him, Bob, well, it was one of his representatives. I told him, and his name was Chris, I made a decision. I want to do this, but I don't have a dime right now to do this. And so he asked me, so what is possible? And I was like, not, and he made some suggestion. No, that doesn't work here. No. And it's easy to say no. So he said, okay, so what is possible? And then I had an idea, and the idea worked. And I wouldn't have had the idea had I not first made a decision and then asked myself what is possible. So those are the two things that bring manifestation into your life. Know what you want, that was the goal, then make a decision you want it, and then ask yourself how. And no is never the answer. I can't is never the answer. So if you want to manifest something, it's not about how you can't, but always how you can. And if this idea doesn't work, try another, ask someone, go somewhere, get some inspiration, but go for it, really. So that was really fun, and it did work out amazingly, and I'm still amazed to this day. This and the picture before that just jumped, and now my computer seems to be a bit frozen. Anyways, here it is. This is the two of them were like real big awards that I won, and I am so proud of it. I was so proud of it. It's really a big thing. Like, I wanted this audience award, and the second was a startup award with my startup I had before I worked for it. And I thought, wow, how can it happen? And the thing is, it did. I put, you know, my energy, my effort. I talked to the people. I went to the places. I pitched. I overcame my fear of speaking in front of people because I really wanted it. Now, I figured out later that I wanted to have these stages and the awards because what I really wanted is to have the recognition. And that, and just later I understand it's the, here again, I was a speaker at the Innovative City Conference. So, but the recognition is actually something really inner value of, hey, please love me. How can I have fun? And so this here, and let me make this bigger again, this is where, without money at all, I said, okay, how can we have the best and fun family vacation? And so we had the car of my parents that went to really vacation, and we started driving, and we just had the fun of our lives to just drive somewhere, stop somewhere, walk in these little villages. This here is in Ticino, the Italian part of Switzerland. It's so fun. Like, you can do anything. Another thing that we wanted is the ski vacation. After my kids grew up in Israel, after we came here in 2018, and for 3 years we couldn't afford the ski vacations. And they said, okay, it's not possible that we are here for 3 years and my kids don't know how to ski. I put it in my mind. I saw ourselves skiing. And I waited to see what happens. And that was just after COVID, when my parents came and said, hey, you know what? Our budget for the vacations, we didn't use it this year. Why don't you go and learn ski? And I didn't utter a word to them. And so it happens. And so it happens. So one of the things in this time was to find really exquisite places on earth to just enjoy nature, to just enjoy myself. So if that is a goal for you, manifest it. And then it's also doing crazy things like jumping into the ice water. I tell you the truth, this is still on my bucket list. I didn't have the courage at the time, but let's see in the future. Anyway, more family time. What else do I have here? I'm looking for the 4-leaf clover. Also, I wanted to have we wanted to have a summer vacation, and that was, let alone we didn't have the money, but also everything was closed, right? You couldn't go to the sea, you couldn't go to hotels. So what we did is just put our mind to what we want. And my husband loves farms, so circumstances, and I can just, yeah, my husband earlier set ourselves up on a exchange kind of platform. And so here it's called Workaway. So you can stay at some people's home and you work half a day and you enjoy, and they give you apartment and food. And so that's what we did. It was the fun of our life. I was working in the garden. We were cooking things from their farm. There were horses, there were tractors for the kids to drive around. They could work with wood. There was a swimming pool, like what not? And we didn't pay a dime. Like, how crazy is that? So I'm just showing you all these examples to make sure that you understand that everything is possible. And other things, so that was this, at the same farm, I was reading The Power of Awareness, and they are the law of assumption. So the law of assumption says, all you have to do is to assume that it's easy to assume what you want. And then I was just sitting on the grass there in a chair and asked myself, so what are the odds that I find a 4-leaf clover? And whoop, there it was. And I was like, ah, this is crazy. Never in my life I found one. And then I called the kids, and all of the kids, the 3 of the kids, each one found another 4-leaf clover as well. And I have them pinned to my wall now. That is crazy. That is such a coincidence. And I said, oh, maybe there is a lot of 4-leaf clovers on this, in this grass there. And then we're looking for another one for my husband, their father, and we didn't find not even one. So it's just a crazy manifestation of what is possible. And I'm just telling you, everything is possible. So here was also the kids. They wanted to go to Legoland. And I said, okay, now I know how to manifest. So you just think of what you want, and then you go and put your mind to it. And I made them check it in the internet, knowing I don't have the money for it like at all. And then it happened that this farm was just half an hour away from Legoland. So we could drive there, and yeah, but by the time we got there, we had the money for the daily tickets. So we were there 3 days. It was amazing. It was just amazing. And like that, those are just some of the manifestations that I put the intention, I set the intention, I go to work, and I manifested it. The last thing I want to show you is, of course, the money. At the very beginning, when I didn't have the money, I was trying to manifest exactly $7,500 US. Why US dollar? Because I thought I have an international business. But I could have asked for euro because I'm in Europe. I could have asked for Swiss francs because I'm in Switzerland. Anyways, at the time, the euro, the dollar and the franc were about 1-to-1, which is now not the case. But okay, so I was writing it out, I was visualizing it, I was doing all the work, getting in tune with this sum, and I never achieved it. I never did. Sometimes I earned less, sometimes more. So as having your own business, it's never a steady, every month the same kind of thing. So I never did it. And funny enough, years after, when my husband started to work in a new company, so it's a US company, so he got exactly $7,500 to start with, which was amazing. I said, wow, I asked for it, I got it. You can never know how, but in the end, it's you get it, right? In this case, through the employment of my husband. Now, since it didn't work at the time, Bob told me, okay, maybe, if your goal isn't working, make it bigger. It's probably not an inspired goal. It's probably like something A or B type goal. And so I said, okay, so I make it 10. Sure enough, after 3 months, my husband got a raise to 10. Then I said, okay, now I go to 25. Sure enough, that's what he is getting. And so now I put it to 100. We haven't yet manifested 100,000 a month, but let's get there. So that's the fun of it. That's the work of it. And I'm not looking to, I'm very proud of talking about these things because eventually they manifest. Here is some more manifestations of minerals, crystals, wonderful, the lakes and rivers. I love the water. So many manifestations that I really am proud of. Yeah, meeting friends. So everything is possible if you really want it. So don't be intimidated by, thinking, oh, this is too big, or feelings of not deserving it. You deserve everything you want. If it wasn't in you, if you didn't want it, like your seed, everything you want is already written in your seed. It's just the process of watering it and bringing it into fruition so you can achieve it. So I'm happy to take questions if a question come up. Otherwise, I'll more go into the how. So let's do it. Manifest your goals. by first knowing what they are, from the idea to the physical, with the universal laws. So I touched upon a couple of universal laws, like the law of generation, the law of vibration, the law of attraction, the law of assumption. They are very organized, but also they are, of course, they go together, right? The law of cause of effect. You have to do so, like always be the cause to cause an effect, right? So the path to manifestation is a triangle. There is first the spiritual, which is the thinking kind of work. Let's see if you can see it. The spiritual, the thinking kind of world, the goals, the intentions, and the results you want, that you really become clear what it is for you. Then there is, let's see, so there is the physical, which is the base, like you are where you are, you cannot be where you cannot, where you're not right now. So what is the path? And the path is the mental, is the work you do in the mind, which is the manifestation process. Okay, so let's go into it. You saw this before, where we have our initial point, where we have our big goal. So by now you already know your big goal, which is the spiritual part of it. You have the point where you start. And then you have, you know, when you do what you did, you will get what you got, right? So that's Einstein taught us. If you want to have a different result, you need to do something different. But the thing is, you came from somewhere where you're now. That means that you have started somewhere further below. That's how you came to be what you are now. Then the question is, you know, where do you navigate to? Is it going back to what you were because, you know, you're afraid to continue to grow? Do you continue on that path, or is it a path upwards? Are you ready to take the next step? But again, so this is in the comfort zone, and your dream, your manifestation, your C-type goal is always outside the comfort zone. It's in the crazy zone, how I love to call it, or in the zone of genius. So that is the mental state of being, and that is the thinking into results process. Okay, I'll go into it. But first, you need to know that you can do what you can do. So take responsibility and lead yourself to success. Okay. So the first thing in this thinking into results process is asking, what do you think? Who do you think you are? This is crucial. Do you understand that? When you think that you're not worthy, that's what you will manifest. When you think you're amazing, that's what you will manifest. When you think you're beautiful, that's what you will manifest. When you think you're old, that's what you will manifest. When you think you are crazy, that's what you will manifest. So you see how that goes? Whatever you think you are, you will manifest. Therefore, let's take a step back and say, okay, what do you want to think who you are? So that is the self-image, or what we also call the paradigm of self-image. The paradigm is a set of beliefs, because it's not one thing you believe you are, there is a lot of things that you believe that you are, okay? So on the feeling side, so okay, to make the, when you think you're fantastic, you will feel fantastic. When you think you're a loser, you will feel like a loser. So whatever you think triggers your feelings and emotions. So here we have the emotional scale. And when you want to manifest better things, so always you have to attach the feeling of how does it feel to be successful? How does it feel to be a millionaire? And if you think of it's difficult to be successful, or it's difficult to be a millionaire, so that's a low vibrating feeling. That's a feeling in the negative. So you will attract maybe success, but you don't feel it a success because you don't feel good about it. So first we have, or the next step is to align what you think you want to be with how you want to feel when you are this, right? And then eventually we will flip it around, but let's go step by step. Then we have to, like, whatever you feel makes your beliefs. So if you believe you do X, Y, Z, and that makes you happy, you believe that this is something good, right? Even if it's not achieving your goals, right? So that's, for example, an example is smokers. They probably know it's not good. They might feel that they're, addicted to it and it's not good, but still they do it because it's a belief. It calms them down. It perhaps gives them something to the self-confidence, or it's just a habit. Like, oh, after food, this is what I do. So the question is your goal. What is it, let's say health-wise, that you want to be, do, or have? How does it feel? And are your beliefs and then your habits aligned with those goals? So when you believe, who am I? Who am I to have success? So you believe, oh, I'm Nadine and I'm a fantastic coach. So that's why I am. That's why I believe I have success. Or when I say, who am I to coach people? Like, and then talk myself bad. So that's what I will manifest. That's a set of belief. So as I said, if we feel it's hard, if we are concerned what other people think of us, like whatever we believe, that's what we will manifest. What if I fail? So the question is, if overall are your thoughts and therefore emotions and therefore beliefs, are they negative and limiting towards your goal? Like the standard is your goal. Or are they positive and uplifting and expanding and putting in the tension? Okay. So once you know that, you develop the growth habits, which is, for example, leadership. Do you need leadership to lead yourself to your goals? Exactly. It's investments, everything. Like the law of generation says, the seed is in you, the seed is there. But now we need the rain, now we need time, now we need whatever we need, the ingredients to make that growth happen. It's an investment. So whatever your goal are, it's always an investment that is involved with it. Some people hear investment and straight away think about money. Sometimes it's money, but so often it's so many other things. Thoughts. When I was thinking about my love and happiness goal, so I invested a lot of time of thinking of how can I bring more love and happiness into our conversations. So that was, a communication kind of investment. Then the attitude. The attitude is, can I do it? Am I doing it? The attitude is the combination of the beliefs that are expressed in behavior. That's an attitude. So we say, oh, it's not on me to bring world peace. Okay. If you do think it's on me to speak about it, okay, it is what it is. And it is what you think it is. So then also leave everyone with the impression of increase, which is, especially when you speak about peace, is like I always believe that must be a win-win. There is never a lasting peace when not both sides or parties win. So that's the same with, achieving your goals. Sometimes, even though hard decisions need to be made, it's how can you do them? How can you make them in a way that is a win-win for everyone? So think about it. And sometimes you don't know how, and we had that before, but it's definitely, nevertheless, a win-win when you see in hindsight, right? And I'm speaking now from heart to heart to especially moms that, career and family and guilt and da-da-da-da-da. So you can have both. You can definitely do both and then feel good about it and everything will lighten up. You will see. So the key questions here are how do you use your time? The first question is, are you on purpose? Whatever you invest your time in, is it something that furthers your goal, that brings you a step closer towards your goal? Second question, do you do what you want to do? So you say, oh, I want to have my own business, but I am in my job. Oh, I want to have a happy family conversations, but still I'm shouting. Oh, I want to have a nice relationship, but I don't invest my time. So do you do what you want to do? Very important question. And then the third one is actually combining them. How do you combine the two? That you always do what you want to do while being on purpose. And sometimes you also then do things that might be uncomfortable, but because you know your purpose, you suddenly want to do those uncomfortable things. See what I mean? That's the intention. Okay? So what we do and how we do it is goaling, which is being and vibrating on the vibration of your goal. So wherever you are right now, take all the judgment away and just know that is your thermostat. That is where you are. And from here you grow. Okay? So I'm happy to take questions. And then I'll just ask from all those who are here, who does want results? So we had now, you saw how we went from the thinking to the emotional to the belief systems. Okay, the thoughts create the emotions create our belief systems, the belief systems our habits, the habits our attitude, and then that's how we create the results. Okay, so the secret to success has been opened to me by Bob Proctor and Sandy Gallagher, and we call it Thinking into Results. They have, or especially Bob has, invested like 50 years of research based on Think and Grow Rich, on the book Think and Grow Rich. And that's like, you know, having him handing me the manual, and he taught me all these secrets that I'm happy to pass on to you, as he has gone, unfortunately, almost, it's now 2 years ago. Wow. Yes, so what is Thinking into Results? So first, and it's actually the recap of what he did here. First are the thoughts that create the feelings, that lead to actions, that lead to results, and those results trigger our thoughts. Logical, right? So when you want to have new results, what do you need? New thoughts that create new emotions and feelings that will trigger new actions and new results. It's as simple as that. So the question is, like, how does it work? And the good news is you can change your thoughts, feelings, and actions at will, and thus create the results you want. So I'll recap this in a few bullet points. So either you live your goal or you don't. Either you're in harmony with your goal and purpose or you're not. Your beliefs about being the beliefs about your being control your results. Okay, the beliefs, again, is the combination of thoughts and feelings. And the growth is natural, as we saw with the law of generation, and growth habits can be learned. So that means that the ideas must be transformed to become physical. So we had the intention. So when we have the goal up here and put tension down here, the transformation of the rubber band will stretch you and bring the transformation into the physical. And that's how, with thinking into results, you implement the exact steps that we have covered here. So again, how to create the desired results? It's to say yes to it, because to bring up all the excuses and reasons why it doesn't work will not bring you results or goals. So it's yes to prosperity, yes to overcoming fears, yes to a healthy self-image, yes to your own leadership, yes to money and to use it, yes to well-being, yes to grow, and especially yes to yourself. So if you want this for yourself, you can send me a message, you can leave a comment here, book a call with the QR code you send here, or go to inspireworks.ch and click the content thing to check for a good time to talk. Why do I invite you to talk? Because every one of the manifestations, every desire, every goal is super individual, and I'd love to show you how this can work for you. So this call is called Prosperity and Success call, and that's what we are discussing there, how to put the path. Thank you for being here. Yeah, I see here in the comments, stay kind, stay positive, and stay amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. It's really nice. So the problem, just to go into it, it's why people are not manifesting. Just to, recap this as well, is when we are asked what the mind or the work in our mind, the mindset looks like, usually what we get is this. Like blank. So in thinking into results, we will look at this process of thoughts, feelings, actions, and result in terms of the secret genie, which Bob lovingly calls the stick person, which combines the conscious mind, which are your thoughts, the subconscious mind, which is all those emotions and behaviors and beliefs, set of beliefs that create the result. So the body being the physical, being the result. Okay, so this stick figure is the thinking mind and the feeling mind, creating your results. So have fun with using the universal laws, the laws of vibration, purpose and goals. Like, it's fun, right? So to change what is not working is the need that you learn to override the old paradigm, the paradigm that has not been working for you. So the twist of it is how to change it. And change starts in the mind, but then, and the more difficult part is to really do it emotionally and physically. And that's also what Steve Jobs said, have the courage to follow your heart and your intuition. They somehow know what you truly want to become. And I stretch my arms out to you. It's really true. The seed in you knows exactly why you're here. Your soul contract knows exactly why you're here. So just stop the resistance. Stop playing and thinking small and open yourself up to transform, to expand, to become what you're meant to be. So I'm looking forward to seeing you, to have a call with you. Very happy. Yeah, I just see someone booked. That's really cool. I'm really happy to have those conversations on the call. You don't have to decide on anything. It's just to discuss your personal goals and to see how we can manifest them. Do you deserve it? Your answer is yeah. So remember, the universal laws always work. Have an inspired goal, and then you attract what you are So you become your goal and your highest, best self. And you change those habits when you align towards your goal. And that's what we do in Thinking into Results. So have fun becoming comfortable to get uncomfortable, which is exiting the comfort zone. I'll give you here a couple of success stories, examples that you can, get some impressions yourself. I'll extract myself from it so you have it bigger, but you still hear me. And you can book your call with a QR code, or when you go to inspirex.ch. Yeah, and they'll be there for you. Just see the video kind of stopped, so I will put myself again here because the video stopped. That's not so fun. Let's see what we can do here. There we go. Now let's make it bigger. Okay. So have the courage, stand up for yourself, really listen to your heart. What is it meant to be for you? How are you going to create the life that you want? What happens if you don't? Like, how will your life be if you continue as you just did? Is that what you want? It's your thoughts. It's your decisions. It's what you came here to this earth to do. And you can manifest anything you want and everything you want. And I'm just here to guide you, help you on the way. I had my mentors. Bob had his mentors. So that's also a fun story that I have been taught by Bob. Bob has been taught by Earl Nightingale, who was the founder of this personal development industry. And he has been mentored by Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill has written Think and Grow Rich, which you might recall. And Napoleon Hill has been mentored by Andrew Carnegie, who was the first billionaire in America with his business. So, and I'm not sure about first, but certainly he was among the rich, and that's how he taught and gave Napoleon Hill the access. So here you have a straight line of people, of mentors that have it from the most successful people on this earth, and you can make a decision whom you want to work with, when you want to start working on your goals, on yourself, with mentors, with me, with others. When do you take your time? When is your time to shine and to really create the best life and world the world has to offer? Never forget, the only time you always have is now. You don't have yesterday, you don't right now have tomorrow. So you always have now. And now is always the best and only time to make a decision. Sometimes we say the best time to make a decision would have been 3 years ago, but the second best is always now. So who are you? When is now? What happens if you don't do now right now? Yeah. So if you're still here, one more time, the paradigm controls your results. You must get on the frequency of your goal, and you must think from the life purpose from the goal, which in our case is, so let me put myself back on the thing, which is from. So you don't think from here, from where you are, you think from the goal. What do I have to do to bring world peace? What do I have to do to be a multimillionaire? What do I have to do to reach my goal? So that's what you do, right? Put attention and then work from here. So when you pull so strong that here, eventually I will have to let go, which, whoops, we're here. We did it. So book your 2024 breakthrough call, clarify what you want to do. Let's see what is holding you back, and then let's put a strategy together to make 2024 the best year of your life. So take the spots, act fast, tips to make it stick, find your purpose and write them down, your inspired goal, set your intention and follow them, focus on goal achieving activities, then create a calendar and schedule those activities. Know your numbers, surround yourself with people that help you reach your goals, be in a mastermind, take 100% of responsibility. And the common denominator of success is that successful people do the things that failures don't like to do, which is the hard things, the transformations, and making decisions because they know that will bring them to their goal. So thank you so much for having been here. Thank you so much. It was amazing 1.5 hours. I really appreciate your time. And I'm looking forward to be with you in 2024 as we do thinking into results. Yes. Thank you. And I'll leave this on the screen so you can book your call now and then join us on all the channels for more to come. See you there. Happy 2024.